Imagine this. You learn a new English word today. You repeat it 5 times. You write it in your notebook. You even use it in one sentence. You feel confident. You think, I'll definitely remember this word. Then, 3 days later, someone asks you a simple question. You know the perfect word. You've studied it before. You can almost see it. It's right there, somewhere inside your mind. But it refuses to come out. The harder you try to remember, the more it disappears. A few hours later, when the conversation is over, the word suddenly comes back. You smile and think, why couldn't I remember it when I needed it? Has this ever happened to you? If your answer is yes, you're not forgetting because you have a bad memory. You're forgetting because your brain wasn't taught how to remember. And today, I'm going to show you how to change that forever. Because learning vocabulary, and remembering vocabulary, are 2 completely different skills. Let me ask you something. Do you remember the name of your first school teacher? Probably. Do you remember your best friend's birthday? Most likely. Do you remember the lyrics of your favorite song? Maybe even every single word. Why? Because those memories have meaning, emotion, experience. Your brain doesn't remember information. It remembers importance. That's why memorizing long vocabulary lists rarely works. Imagine trying to remember 100 random phone numbers. Almost impossible. Now imagine remembering the phone number of someone you love. Much easier. The information didn't change. Its meaning did. The same thing happens with English words. Let me tell you about Ethan. Ethan carried a notebook everywhere. Every day, he wrote 20 new English words. After 6 months, he had thousands of words written down. But during conversations, he could barely remember them. One day, his English teacher looked at his notebook and smiled. Then she asked, "What color is this?" She pointed to a bright red apple. Ethan answered, "Red." She asked, "Did you memorize that word from your notebook?" He laughed. "No." "Then how did you learn it?" "I saw it every day." "Exactly. You didn't memorize the word. You experienced it." That one lesson completely changed the way Ethan learned English. From that day on, he stopped collecting words. He started collecting experiences. Instead of writing, "Apple equals a fruit," he imagined holding one, eating one, buying one, sharing one. The word became part of a story. And stories stay in your memory much longer than lists. Here's something fascinating about the human brain. Your brain doesn't store words like a dictionary. It stores them like a giant web. Every memory connects to another memory. Imagine the word beach. Does your brain only think of the letters? No. You probably imagine sand, waves, the smell of the ocean, sunshine, vacations, family, photos, ice cream. That's why you remember it so easily. The word isn't alone. It's connected. Now imagine learning the word opportunity. Instead of translating it, connect it to your own life. Maybe your dream job, a scholarship, a business idea, a life-changing interview. Now the word has emotion, and emotion creates memory. Let's do a quick exercise. I'll say a word. Don't translate it. Build a picture. Mountain. Can you see the snow? The trees? The sky? Good. Now, celebrate. Don't think of a definition. Imagine a birthday party. Friends laughing. Music playing. Someone blowing out candles. Excellent. You've just created a memory. And memories last much longer than translations. Now here's something almost nobody tells English learners. You don't forget words because you're lazy. You forget them because you never used them. Imagine buying a brand new bicycle. Then leaving it untouched in your garage for 5 years. Would you expect it to stay in perfect condition? Probably not. Words are the same. Every word needs exercise. Every conversation strengthens it. Every sentence makes it easier to remember. Vocabulary grows through use, not through storage. So today, we're going to stop collecting words, and start living them. Now, I want you to imagine your brain as a giant library. Every English word you learn is like a new book. But here's the problem. Many learners simply throw new books into the library, without putting them on a shelf. Then later, when they need a word, their brain says, I know it's in here somewhere, but it can't find it. Fluent English speakers organize their vocabulary differently. Every new word has a place. It has a story. It has an image. It has an emotion. It has a situation where it's used. That's why they remember it. Now let me ask you a question. Which word is easier to remember? The word restaurant written on a flashcard, or the memory of ordering your favorite pizza with friends? Exactly. Your brain remembers experiences much better than information. That's why the best English learners don't just study English. They live it. Now let me tell you about Mia. Every morning, Mia learned 10 new English words. By evening, she could barely remember 3. She became frustrated. She thought, maybe I just have a bad memory. One day, she changed one small habit. Instead of learning the word journey, she wrote one sentence. My journey to learning English has changed my life. Then she imagined herself speaking confidently with people from different countries. Suddenly, the word wasn't just vocabulary anymore. It became part of her story. A month later, she noticed something incredible. She wasn't remembering more words because she studied harder. She was remembering more words because she cared about them. And that's one of the biggest secrets of memory. The brain remembers what matters. Now let's learn another powerful technique. Instead of learning one word, learn a family of words. For example, don't only learn the word success. Learn success, successful, successfully, succeed. Now your brain builds connections. Every time you hear one of those words, the others become stronger too. It's like planting one tree, instead of one leaf. Here's another example. Learn the word decide. Then add decision, decisive, undecided. Now you're building a network, not isolated vocabulary. And networks are much easier to remember. Now here's another mistake many learners make. They stop reviewing words after learning them once. Imagine meeting someone today, then never speaking to them again for 10 years. Would you remember their name? Maybe not. Words are like friendships. They grow stronger when you meet them again. So don't be afraid to revisit old vocabulary. Review isn't a sign you've forgotten. Review is how memory becomes permanent. Now let's do a quick exercise. Imagine you've just learned the word confident. Don't stop there. Ask yourself 5 questions. When do I feel confident? Who do I know that's confident? What makes someone confident? When was the last time I felt confident? How can I become more confident? Without realizing it, you've repeated the word 5 times, in 5 different situations. Your brain now has 5 different paths to find it later. That's much stronger than reading it 10 times. Now let's talk about something your brain absolutely loves. Stories. Imagine I give you 5 random words. Dog, rain, coffee, airport, guitar. Difficult to remember. Now listen to this. Yesterday I was drinking coffee at the airport when I saw a man carrying a guitar. Suddenly, a dog ran past him in the rain. Can you remember those 5 words now? Probably. Why? Because your brain remembers stories far better than lists. That's why you should create tiny stories with every new word you learn. They don't have to be true. They just have to be memorable. Now let's imagine you're learning the word adventure. Instead of writing adventure equals an exciting experience, create a story. One day I'm going to travel across Europe with only a backpack. That will be the greatest adventure of my life. Now the word belongs to your future. And your brain loves personal memories. Now, let's talk about one of the biggest mistakes English learners make. They try to remember words, instead of trying to use them. Imagine you buy a brand new smartphone, but you leave it in the box. You never turn it on. You never make a phone call. You never install an app. Will you become an expert at using that phone? Of course not. Vocabulary works exactly the same way. A word that stays in your notebook never becomes part of your language. A word that you use every day becomes part of who you are. Now imagine you learn the word opportunity. Don't just memorize it. Use it. Say, learning English gives me more opportunities. Later that day, tell yourself, Every conversation is an opportunity to improve. Tomorrow morning, think, I don't want to miss this opportunity. By the end of the week, you won't have memorized the word. You'll own it. Here's another exercise that can completely change your vocabulary. I call it the 3-day rule. Every new word you learn today must appear in your life for the next 3 days. Day 1, learn it. Day 2, say it in a conversation. Day 3, write a short sentence with it. That's it. 3 days. 3 different situations. And your chances of remembering that word increase dramatically. Now let's imagine you're learning the word improve. Day 1. I want to improve my English. Day 2. You tell your friend, I'm trying to improve my pronunciation. Day 3. You write in your journal, every small habit helps me improve. 3 days. 3 uses. 1 unforgettable word. Now here's another secret. Stop learning words alone. Learn them in phrases. Don't memorize. Decision. Memorize. Make a decision. Don't memorize. Mistake. Memorize. Make a mistake. Don't memorize. Advice. Memorize. Give advice. Native speakers don't build every sentence from individual words. They remember groups of words that naturally belong together. Those groups are called collocations. And they are one of the biggest differences between intermediate learners and fluent speakers. For example, nobody teaches babies the word morning. They hear good morning again and again and again. Eventually, their brain stores the entire phrase. That's exactly how you should learn English. Here's another powerful trick. Teach someone else. Imagine you've just learned 5 new English words. Call a friend. Or speak to yourself in the mirror. Explain those words in English. When you teach, your brain works much harder than when you simply read. And the harder your brain works, the stronger the memory becomes. Now let's imagine you're learning the word generous. Instead of reading the definition 5 times, explain it. A generous person likes helping others and sharing what they have. Congratulations. You just used English to learn English. That's one of the fastest ways to become fluent. Now I want to tell you about something called active recall. Most learners study like this. They read a word. Cover it. Read it again. Cover it. Read it again. It feels productive. But it isn't. Instead, look away. Ask yourself, can I remember it? Make your brain search. That searching process is what strengthens memory. Think of it like lifting weights. Your muscles don't grow while holding a light weight. They grow while working against resistance. Memory works exactly the same way. The harder your brain has to retrieve a word, the stronger that word becomes. Now imagine you've learned the word achieve. Close your notebook. Now ask yourself, what's the word that means to successfully reach a goal? Wait. Let your brain search. Then answer. Achieve. That little struggle is good. That's your brain becoming stronger. Now let's imagine something beautiful. It's 1 year from today. You're sitting in a cafe. Someone asks, how did you learn so many English words? You smile. Because you know the answer isn't, I memorized a dictionary. The answer is, I used English every single day. You described your mornings. You told stories. You watched movies. You listened to podcasts. You read books. You spoke with people. You made mistakes. You repeated words. You forgot them. You learned them again. Little by little, those words stopped being vocabulary. They became part of your life. And that's the real goal. Not knowing 10,000 English words, but knowing the right words, at the right moment, without forcing yourself to remember them. Because true vocabulary isn't stored in your notebook. It's stored in your experiences. So from today, stop asking, how many words should I learn? Start asking, how many words can I actually use today? Even 1 word, used 10 times, is more valuable than 100 words, never spoken. Remember this. Fluency isn't built by collecting vocabulary. It's built by living vocabulary. Every conversation, every story, every movie, every book, every mistake, every smile, every new experience, adds another English word. to the person you're becoming. So keep reading, keep listening, keep speaking, keep using every new word you learn, because one day, without even realizing it, you'll stop searching for English words. They'll start finding you. I'll see you in the next lesson. Until then, stay curious, learn deeply, use every word you learn, and never stop building the English life you dream about.